الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحم إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. Well, the topic of my khutbah today is Khushoo. So if anybody asks us about what is the condition of Khushoo in our Salah, for most of us the answer will be the first thing we remember after saying Allahu Akbar in Salah is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It might not be the case for all of us, but Khushoo is a topic that we all feel that we can improve it. I actually thought about, I felt it in myself at first. Like 3-4 years ago, I read a couple of books on Khushoo, and then I tried to implement the practical strategies. But even after reading and really deliberately trying to implement Khushoo, I sometimes see Khushoo not in a quantity which I would like to have. Like the quantity is not adequate. I've also talked with my brothers. So Khushoo is a topic which we have a general consensus that we would like to have more in our Salah. So then I thought about, if Khushoo is important, I don't see in myself or in others the desperation to improve the Khushoo in our Salah. We are not desperate enough to look for ways that how can I improve the Khushoo in my Salah? Because Salah is going one after another, it's coming. Like the Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, it's coming one after another. And I don't know how many more Salah I have in my life. So we should be desperate to find how can I improve my Salah, because we have to do it. The first thing we have to do after becoming Muslim is to pray the Salah. So Khushoo is important. So then I thought about why are we not desperate enough to look for ways to improve the Khushoo. Then I understood in myself that we are not aware of the danger, the risk we are in for not having Khushoo. So first today I will try to tell the result of not having Khushoo. But let me start with the mention of Khushoo in Quran and Sunnah, because that is our starting point. So in Quran, Surah Mohaiminul, Allah Rabbul Alamin said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Indeed, the believers are successful. And why? What is the reason of their success? Because they have Khushoo in their prayer. That is the reason why they are successful. In Surah Baqarah, Allah said, استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إنه لقدرة إلا على الخاشعين. Seek help through prayer and patience, with salat and patience, but indeed it's difficult for the one who doesn't have Khushoo. And in Sahih Hadith, we know that Rasulullah said, he used to seek refuge from Allah. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min qalbin la yakhsha. He used to seek refuge from Allah, from a qalb which doesn't have Khushoo. So what is Khushoo then? What is the definition of Khushoo? So Khushoo has two parts. It's first the Khushoo of the heart, Khushoo of the qalb, and then it is the Khushoo of the limbs and the body. But just like other Arabic terminologies, it's difficult to translate Khushoo in a single word in English. So in Arabic, the Khushoo means Hudurul qalb, the presence of the heart. Because I've seen, like I'm a PhD student, when I stand up in prayer, my heart doesn't always stay in prayer. It goes to the lab, the experiments, maybe for some of us to our homework, to our work. So our qalb, our heart is not present in our salah. So one of the definition of Khushoo in Arabic is hudurul qalb, having the presence of our heart, having the attention, the focus in our salah. And the second definition can be having the fear and the humility of Allah when we stand up in prayer. Because when we are standing up in prayer, in the salat, we have to really think the reality of our situation. We are standing before the Lord of the worlds. Like He is Al-Ghaniyun Hamid. He has the ability to grant all my dua. Like, think about it. If He grants all the duas we have, will the dominion of Allah decrease a little bit? No. So when we're standing in salah, we have to think that we're standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. He asked me, Hayya ala al-falah, He asked me to come and pray, and He will listen to me. Like all of these things has been told about the prayer. That the prayer is a face-to-face meeting with Allah Azza wa Jal. In a Sahih Hadith, it was said that إِذْ أَحَدَكُمْ يُقَامَ يُسَلِّي إِنَّمَا يَقُومُ يُنَاجِي رَبَّهُ. When a slave is standing up in prayer, he is in an intimate conversation with his Lord. So we have to think about the reality of our prayer. To summarize, what Khushoo means is focus of the mind, and then having the presence of the heart in our salah, and also having the fear and humility of Allah Azza wa Jal in salah. And when one heart has these qualities of Khushoo, then it is diffused into the limbs. Like when a person has Khushoo in his heart, you can see that he will pray in a composed manner. He will pray slowly, like he will spend more time in the sujood and ruku. He will not like do it in a fast manner, and there will be a sense of heaviness in his prayer. So this is all about the definition of Khushoo. Then let's come to our first point. I thought that I will first start with the result of not having Khushoo, because as human beings, once we see the result, then we become like desperate. So in a Sahih Hadith, so all the Hadiths I will tell today, these are all Sahih Hadiths. I have been really careful about it. So in Sahih Hadith, Rasulullah said that خَمْسُ صَلَوَاتِ افْتَرَضَهُنَّ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for us, commanded us to pray 5 prayers. And then He mentioned 4 things, the 4 pillars of the prayer. If our prayer has these 4 pillars, then it is said about Him that كَانَ لَهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ أَحَدٌ أَن يَغْفِرَ لَهُ. So who will fulfill these 4 prayers, there is a promise of Allah to him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him. And who will not fulfill these 4 pillars, لَيْسَ لَهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ عَادٌ. For him there is no promise to Allah, from Allah. If he wants, إِنْ شَاءَ غَفَرَ لَهُ. If he wants, he can forgive him. إِنْ شَاءَ يُعَذِّبَهُ. Otherwise he will punish him. So this threat of Jannat and Jahannam, we cannot take it lightly, brothers. Let's can you please move forward for the new ones that are coming. So we cannot take this threat of Jannat and Jahannam lightly, brothers, because our life, this life, is the only chance we will get to get the forgiveness of Allah and to save us from the fire. So what are these 4 pillars? These are mentioned that if someone has these 4 pillars, fulfills these 4 pillars, he has a promise from Allah. It's a great thing, right? You are living, but you have a promise from Allah that He will forgive you. This is a great thing to aspire to, right? So the 4 pillars, the first one is Man ahsana uduwahunna. So who will make his udu properly? So we should be more careful about our Urdu brothers. Also, like in terms of knowledge, I want like knowing about it more deep manner and then implementation. So man ahsana wudu'ahunna. The second pillar is wasallahunna liwaqtihinna. Praying the salah in its appointed time. The third pillar, wa'atamma ruku'ahunna. Atamma means to complete something. Complete. So atamma ruku'ahunna is the third pillar. And the fourth pillar is wa'atamma khushu'ahunna. So that means who will complete his ruku and also complete his khushoo. Khushoo is the fourth pillar. If one of these pillar is missing, then we are in a great danger, brothers. Then we don't have a promise from Allah that He is going to forgive us. The sole reason we have come to Islam is to get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness, right? To save ourselves from fire, to go to Jannah. So as the atamma khushu'ahunna, we are falling short in completing the khushuu, we are in a great danger. We have to first understand this danger, and then we should reflect deeply within ourselves that my prayers, like, are they worthy of being accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal? For example, I am 29 years old. So many prayers has already gone by in my life. Like once we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, I cannot bring my prayer back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So with this feeling of loss and regret, we should try to make very strong effort in how can I gain this atamma khushu'ahunna. How can I complete my khushuu? Because incomplete salat is not expected from us. So the salat I did in my past life, can I stand with those salat in front of Allah Azza wa Jal? Because we have to stand in front of Allah alone. So when I will be looking to Him face to face, can I show Him, okay, these are my salats? So we have to reflect about it deeply. And then because there is the door of tawbah is open for us. Still, as long as we are living, we can make tawbah. And we can really focus our efforts to improving our khushuu. And with this in mind, let me tell about 5 points I want to tell today to improve our khushuu in salah. 5 tips. So these tips are all like practical tips. They are not theoretical. Like if you listen to them, you can start implementation. Once you start implementation, you will see increase in your khushuu in salah, but the increase will stop if you don't persevere. Just like anything else in the world, if we want to increase our iman, having strong iman, we have to persevere. We have to stick with that we have to show the perseverance to Allah. If we don't persevere, it's not possible either to gain knowledge of our deen or increase in our amal or iman. We have to persevere. So having said that, the first step of increasing khushuu in salah is that making salah the center of our life. We all have our centers of attention in our life. For some of us, it can be our studies, our work, our family. We all have our centers in life. But we should make the salah our center in life. As Muslims, we should, because if you see the 5 salah, the way it is, like you have to pray once you wake up, and then in the middle of the day, like the salah is coming one after another, one by one. So the salah is the reflection of the statement that we have been created to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. This is the sole reason of our existence. The salat is the reflection that we have been created only to worship Allah, no other reason. So we have to make salat the center of our life, and I should be thinking about the condition of my salah throughout the day, because it's coming one after another, and I have to plan my day around my salah. And like the whole day I should be thinking about it. I mean, this concept cannot be understood by a disbeliever, right? Because how can like you be always thinking about Salah? Because as a Muslim, I think that I have a lot of proof that Islam came from Allah. I have a lot of proof within myself. So one of the proof that Islam is really came from Allah is the 5 prayers. Because the ruling of 5 prayers, it cannot be made by human being. Because if you think about an office, that you have to meet with your boss 5 times a day. And the meeting is just not any meeting. You have to clean yourself, you have to like wear proper clothing. So if somebody learns about an office like this, they will say, in that office nothing will get done. And with human intelligence, if you like know about an office where you have to meet with the boss 5 times a day, people will say, okay, that office, nothing, they will do nothing, they will just be meeting. So disbeliever will say, okay, after praying this 5 prayers, how can a Muslim will do good in life? So the answer is in the prayer itself. As I told earlier in the khutbah, that this prayer is our success. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. The reason the believers are successful is because of the prayers. What you do in the whole day doesn't matter. I'm not saying you will just sit, but the most important part is Salah. If your 5 Salah is right, if you can pray the 5 Salah with proper Khushoo, with making proper wudu in a slow and a composed manner, wallahi, trust me, if you just fix your Salah, everything else will fix in and of itself. Your relationships, your work, everything. Because if our head is clean, I have like from practical experience, you will not have to work as much as the other people are working. If you make your Salah right, you will see the barakah, you will see the practical results within a month. If you just focus on, because this is the word of Allah. The reason of success is Khushoo in Salah. If you can implement Khushoo in Salah, everything else in life, your relationship, you will see people will deal you differently. You will see them respect you, and all your affairs will become easy. So we have to make Salah the center of our life. Just can you please move forward, young brothers. So after my first tip, I will go to my second tip, is planning for Salah. So planning is really important. Without good planning, you cannot achieve anything high, even of this dunya or akhirah. We have to plan for our day, either in the so what I generally advise, that try to wake up little early before the Fajr, and just have only 10 minutes. Just those 10 minutes, just plan your day. You'll see the barakah, because most of the time we just wake up and we're just dealing with things as they come by. We deal with them in a reactive manner. So I will say the planning of the day is really important to have Khushoo. Because if you are always rushing, you cannot have Khushoo. I will say if you need one, you can block your Google Calendar that, okay, when the prayer time will come, I will stop all my activities. I will be strict with this. I will not talk with anyone. Yeah, sometimes you can have something that is more important, like form. But most of us, we are just delaying. So planning for the day before the Fajr is really important. I found it really. And also if you can pray the Tahajjud, it will increase in Khushoo. It will increase in the Khushoo in all your prayers. So the planning is the second pillar. So like I will try to make it open, because each one of us plans differently. So I'm just putting it here because it's important. Without planning, it's not possible. So from the second tip, the third tip is preparation for Salah. The preparation is and starts with wudu. So I will give you 3 things to keep in mind while we're making the wudu. If you keep in mind these 3 things, you will find more meaning in your wudu. So all of these are from the Sahih Hadiths. I will not mention the entire Hadith because there is lack of time. So the first thing you should remember, that when you are washing your hands, your face, all the sins that have been committed with your hands, your face, your mouth, it washes away with the water. So when you are making the ablution, the wudu, you should think about that. It's not just like a mechanical thing. Like the Islam, everything you should connect it with your heart. When you're making the wudu, you should think that, okay, I'm washing my face, washing my hand. My sins are dropping off with the water. So if you think about it, you will find more concentration in the wudu. So this is the first thing. And the second thing is this another hadith narrated from Umar ibn Khattab. So if one makes an wudu properly and then he says that أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله, then all the 8 gates of paradise will be open for him and he can enter through any of the gates he wants. So we have this opportunity each day, like 5 times. If we make wudu and then we say this thing that has been taught to us by Rasulullah, then all the 8 gates of paradise will be open for us and we can enter through any gates. This is the second tip. And the third tip, it has been mentioned multiple times in the Quran that Wallahu yuhibbul mutatahhirin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the ones who like to purify themselves. So as Muslims, we should always try to stay clean. And wudu is a way of it. When we're making wudu, we should think of these things. So that it doesn't only become a mechanical thing, just washing. If you think of these things, you will have more heart in the wudu. So this was my third point, the preparation for Salah. The fourth point, which is I would say probably the most important one, is understanding what you are reciting in the Salah. This is a basic aspect of Salah. We should understand and know the meaning of everything we are saying in Salah. Because if you understand what you are saying and you think about it, then you will develop that connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. If I don't understand that, I cannot make that connection and to focus on what our response should be when we listen to Quran. I would like to tell one ayah of the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. Indeed, the true believers, we all want to be true believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, who are the true believers? The true believers are the one, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the true believers, الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. When they hear the remembrance of Allah, and the greatest remembrance of Allah is the Quran. So when they hear the remembrance of Allah, their hearts tremble. Brothers, I have seen people who will just recite Surah Fatiha and tears will come down from their eyes. These are the believers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. When they hear the word of Allah, the Quran, their heart starts trembling. وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. And when the Quran is being recited in front of them, their iman starts increasing. So we have to test ourselves with this, that when I'm reciting the Quran, listening to the Quran in Salah, is my iman increasing? Am I able to connect with the Quran in the Salah? So we should be really serious about these aspects of Salah. That otherwise we cannot be among the true believers. We want to be among the true believers, but do we fit into this description being given by Allah? That the true believers are the ones, إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم, their hearts tremble. وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. So the true believers, they only depend on Allah. A lot of the times I've seen it also with myself, even we fall into some problem, we are very fast to ask from some help from other people. But this is not honorable. We should first try to do it ourselves and seek help from Allah. This is the first thing we should do. We should really try. And then we should seek help. Because seeking help from others is not always very much, I would say, the desperate matter according to our religion. And this was the fourth point for having Khushoo in Salah. And the fifth point is enjoying the Salah. Don't think of it as a burden. The Salah is a gift for us. We have such a disciplined lifestyle. When I look at these believers, I feel sad. They have no goal. They're just going about their day. We have such a gift from Allah, the Salah. If we can make our Salah right, it will make us physically stable, mentally stable, and it can improve all the aspects of our life. So when we think about Salah, we should not think about it as a burden. This is a gift from Allah. The Salah is the Jannah of a believer in this world. So I believe that once you will be able to connect with Allah Azza wa Jalla in your Salah and follow all these 5 tips from me, you can have better tips. I think your Khushoo will increase, and I think once your Khushoo will increase, you will stick to it. You will be strict with your own self that I will not let it go. Because if sometimes it happens with me, 1-2 days it's good, but then it slowly dies away. Don't let it happen to you. Persevere for the sake of Allah. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. إن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. إن الشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلال وكل ضلالة في النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتينا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة.